literally were one of my very first followers. And then when you followed me and I, followed back, I was like, this dude is cool. Like,
if they say talk to your manager, you just say, you know what, talk to the hand. You don't need to be on my podcast. But yeah, dude. Yeah, you do a great job.
Thank you. I always get a kick out of talking with you on Patreon. You have a really good, view on everything.
That wasn't planned.
You know what? But I like this Canadian.
Well,
this one.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Mindful Reality. Reality TV from a mental health perspective. So, what is this video about? A few things. I recently got a chance to do an exclusive interview with Wes Bergman, which is a preview of upcoming Challenge USA, which I basically got to ask him a bunch of questions about where his mind was at during that time. I asked him some questions about rivalries. Of course, I asked him about where he stood with Johnny Bananas going into the game. I asked him if he had any difficulty leaving his wife because his wife is pregnant right now, and she was pregnant at the time when the show was filming also. He spoke to me about whether he's going to come back to a challenge and whether he's not going to come back to a challenge. I mean, you're going to see all of that. I just agreed with him that he posted it onto his Patreon already, so it's available to view if you wanted to see it now, but it's going to be on my channel in a couple of weeks before the USA 2 airs for you guys to see, but right now it's a Patreon exclusive for his members. How did that even come about? Well, I have a previous post that I put up about my interactions with Wes, and I think I've been in contact with him for maybe a couple of years at this point. And really, there's something specific that I wanted to say about this. I have been watching podcasts for years. I loved watching reality TV shows, but I actually loved hopping on YouTube after the show, because one of the reasons why I liked hopping on YouTube is because post-show discussion. There was nobody in my household that watched the same shows that I watched. So therefore, the show would be done, and then I would have all of these thoughts about the show and nobody to talk about it with. So I would get online, and then they would have these panels. I thought there was one that was called AfterBuzz TV. I think that was the first one that I was really into. I don't know if it still exists. It probably does, but I watched it when it was head by Maria Menounos, I think is how you say her name. But some of y'all will know who I'm talking about. And I used to watch that, and it was really cool watching what other people thought of these shows. Like after it airs, you look at the show, and then there's the post-show discussion, and then you see how different people viewed the show differently, different takes on everything. Sometimes the panelists would have different opinions. They would argue, agree with some things, disagree with some things. And it was just like the same way how whenever I watch sports, I go to ESPN afterwards, or I go to like a show where they're talking about the game and the thoughts on the turning points of the game and blah, 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 whatever they think. It's like, so I always looked at that and I was like, I enjoy watching these, but I don't think I could ever do anything like that. So I never had in my mind that I'm going to become one of those breakdown channels. I really didn't. Yeah, I never thought that I was going to become one of those breakdown channels. And then I started watching some newer people that were breaking down some of the shows that I watch currently. And I was wondering to myself, how do they get the guests that they get on those shows? I'm like, there must be some kind of network or something where if you get tapped into the network, you can communicate with this and this and that person. It might work that way. Let me see. I'm thinking it probably might work that way in like Hollywood. You know, if you're signed up to some major media company or something, they plug you in. Okay, we got this guy for you. We got this person, this lady, this one, and this one. And you just get yourself ready and do your interview. YouTube is different. Reality TV is different. And I guess I'm only speaking from my experience because I don't know anyone else's experience. And I've had people share bits and pieces of their journey and the things that have helped them succeed. But when I say bits and pieces, I mean very little. Little bit here and a little bit there. And I understand why it's like that, because I feel like sometimes the YouTube lane is only so big. So people don't want to give too much of this is what I did and this is what I did. But I'm different. I don't really care. So for me, I can tell you guys, I started with covering Big Brother. That's the first show that I ever covered on the internet, which is funny because out of the roster of shows that I watch, it's probably the one that I've watched the least and I have the least experience with, but it's the one that gained me the majority of my following on my music and mental health channel. Now, something with that. After I started covering the show, I started thinking to myself, it would be really cool if I was able to talk to some of the people from the show, like how I see on these other pages. And I'm like, how do I go about doing that? Well, again, the world of 2023 is different from the world of yesteryear. Access to people is different than it was before. So the way that I went about it, I just reached out. I reached out Instagram DMs. I reached out, what else? Twitter, like tagging on Twitter. What else? Instagram, Twitter. Recently, I started a TikTok, so I've been using that. But basically, the point that I wanted to make when I said that I have tips for new content creators. No matter how many books they try to sell you, and no matter how many perfect methods that they try to tell you that there are, no matter how many videos people make that are like, I can show you how to gain 1,000 followers a month and whatever, make this amount of money per month. The best teacher is trial and error, because that was my best teacher. I bought books that I read. I have books where I have all these things about the algorithms and hashtags and all these different things and ways on how you succeed with YouTube. I've tried all that stuff. My most successful endeavors on YouTube, quite honestly, were just me hopping on and trying something or doing something different and just getting a result out of it that I didn't expect, and then learning how to adapt and go with what's working. I used to create content that was very long. I would create these videos that were an hour, 2 hours, you know, and I would edit them. I would do a lot of editing and graphics and everything, and I would finish the video and I would be like, this is dope. This is a really dope video. And then I would put it out there and it would be like 5 views, 8 views, no comments. And I'm like, man, these people are dumb. Like, they're not picking up this great stuff that I'm putting out there, you know. but I wasn't willing to change the formula. So I would continue to create these videos that would take me so long to make, and were getting me very little viewership and very little watch hours. So by the time Big Brother came along, I was willing to drop the ego and be like, hey, if this is something that people are rocking with, keep going with it, and just rock with it and find a way to make that work. And then eventually, maybe I can funnel people in to talk to me about other things, or to watch other things that I talk about, rather. So when it came to talking to and reaching out to and getting these reality TV people, I honestly felt like there had to be some certain special, specific something that makes them talk to this person. They talk to this person because of this behind the scenes or that behind the scenes. And I realized the hardest part is basically just, number one, reaching them. Number two, a lot of them have these schedules where it's like they're freelance. And some of them have jobs, you know, like some of them actually have 9 to 5 regular work like we do. Like, we tend to think that everyone who goes onto a show and gets like a blue check, that means that they are set for life. No, you know, like, even if you won the show, you get your money in whatever way that you decided to get your money, payments, increments, or lump sum or whatever. And that's a one-time thing. And then you have to figure out what to do with the rest of your life. So I realized these are regular people, lives. They have lives, they have jobs, some of them. And the ones who don't are like social media influencers that travel and go to different events and hustle up to make their money. So plugging in your interview into their schedule is hard, and some of them, reaching them is hard. Some of them don't even manage their own social media, so you're going through their manager, their management team is wading through everything. So they're gonna look at your page and be like, is this beneficial for my clients to go on this page? In some cases, they're going to be like, yes. But I think they say no more often than they say yes. Versus when I've actually directly reached a castmate through their DM or whatever, or through their email, that's how I've gotten most of my interviews. There's only one time that I actually got a yes from somebody aside from the person themselves. And that interview didn't even end up happening. Like, the assistant told me that the person could do it, and then they came back and were like, sorry, it's not going to happen. So yeah, it doesn't take anything special is my point. It just takes a level of confidence in yourself. It takes a willingness to fall on your face, a willingness to pivot when things aren't working for you, and a willingness to knock on a lot of doors, especially if you're specifically talking about something like getting interviews. You have got to knock on a lot of doors. If y'all saw, I only have 6 interviews from these reality TV people so far. I have 6 interviews. I think 5 are on my page. 1 is pending, but the interview was completed. Anxiously awaiting for that. But yeah, there's a lot more that I reached out to that either didn't respond at all, that started responding and then stopped responding, that scheduled with me and then canceled and didn't reschedule. If I told, even the ones that I did get, I waited probably, I can't remember anymore, but I think 8 to 10 months from the first time I asked Wes for an interview to the time I got it. I waited maybe like 4 to 5 months for my interview with Ayana, due to like CBS contract stuff, and somebody who I was supposed to get some approval from that was there at one point and then left at another point. I waited multiple months, couple of months for Alyssa Lopez because of scheduling issues, and she was traveling and everything. So it takes persistence. It takes not taking things personally. Like, if they're saying no, it could just be because there's so many different people reaching out that it's kind of the luck of the draw, unless you have some kind of maybe some kind of clout. I don't know if clout's the right word, but I feel like clout is the word that I'm trying to use, because you gain a certain amount of clout by being able to say, I have interviewed so and so, I spoke to this and this person, because then they're not just like, oh, who is this random guy on the internet? It's like, oh, this is this guy who interviewed Chaz, Sam, this one, like that adds to your credibility. Another thing is, when I first started out, I was like, I exclusively want to get the top of the food chain. I want to get the Taylor. I want to get the CT. I want to get this one. And these are the people that I was reaching out to only. And there's nothing wrong with reaching out to those people and dreaming big, having a big goal like that. But the thing is, I also had to start understanding that those are the big dogs. Those are people that are more exclusive with their time. Those are people that you're going to hear from less often. And if you're exclusively waiting for them, you're going to have nothing on your plate for a while. And that's what I learned. So I learned that you got to have a wider net. That's how I'm going to say it. Because I don't want to say it in a way that sounds bad. You got to have a wider net and be willing to eat what is available on the plate before you get to the steak or the whatever. You know what I mean? You get where I'm going with it. I would say the first person who I was ever like, I'm dying to interview this person, and Wes. So I'll say the second. The first time I ever had somebody who I'm like, this is a person I would love to interview, and I got to interview them, was Wes. And as I told you guys, that was a very long wait before that happened. But the second one was Sam on the Circle, because I was like, really, this is a person I really want to get for an interview. And I was prepared because of all these other people that I've asked and heard no from to hear a no. So I was really excited to get to do this interview, let alone get to actually meet up to do the interview, which is really dope. But yeah, that's my only advice. Just keep trying different things until you succeed. Something I did get from the book, though, one of the books that I was reading that is good advice too, is to look at the people who are doing what you're trying to do currently, see what's working for them, what's not working for them, learn from their mistakes, learn from the good things that they're doing. If possible, collaborate with them, talk to them, because anybody who is on this platform, big or small, is always looking for ways to grow and expand and do different things. Not everybody is going to be willing to do that, because some people feel like they have to do it alone. Like, if I put any shine on you, it's going to dim my light. Some people have that kind of mentality, but not everybody. And it's worth it to at least try and ask. Some of the people that I have collabed with, it's been great. I support them, they support me. We hop on each other's projects, you know, even if we're not on each other's projects, we share advice, you know, page growth and just, you know, life advice, whatever it is. Collaboration is good. What else do I have? Keep going even when the numbers are low. Keep going even when the numbers are low. Even on this page right now, I'm trying to build up to at least equal or probably greater levels of success than the other page that I have. I haven't done that yet. You know, I've started the grind on this page. It has 78 followers right now. You know, the videos get 30, 40 views. But I'm working on it. And I actually believe that when the time comes and when my shows come back on, which is next week, Big Brother, Challenge USA 2, Survivor's coming. I don't watch Amazing Race. I haven't really gotten into that. But when those 3 shows start up, I expect everything on this page to expand. Yeah, focusing too much on the numbers is why a lot of people's things don't get off the ground. If you have something of value that you believe is of value to add to the people, just work at it. Keep going with it. Keep going with it, and eventually the people will show up. It's like the saying goes, if you build it, they will come. So sit and think about the building process. Think about your page from the perspective of somebody who is coming to view the page instead of just being in your own world and looking at everything through your lens. But think about what draws you to other people's content. What keeps your attention? What do you like about the favorite pages that you follow? And kind of create around that. And I'm not trying to say to be those other pages because everybody has their own unique things that they bring to the table. Happy Friday, Cindy. I'm doing okay. And yourself? I'm on my break, so I'm going to be on here for maybe another 5 to 10 minutes. But yeah, everyone has their unique things that they bring to the table. But I think that you can look at somebody's format and kind of take their format, but customize everything around the format towards your skill set, towards your gift, towards what works for you. Another thing is, whatever is meant for you is for you. Whatever is meant for you is for you. Nobody can take that from you. So if it is meant for you to succeed at this particular thing, God is going to find a way to help you succeed at that thing. And for me, I tell you guys that I never, ever thought I was going to be covering the show Big Brother. I've known of Big Brother for years, and I never wanted to watch it. I thought it was boring. And lo and behold, the thing that I never wanted to cover or watch became the thing that a lot of people know me for on YouTube now at this point. So look at that. But yeah, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I hope y'all have a great rest of your Friday. What do I have going on this weekend? I got a race this weekend. A couple of other things going on, but it's going to be aside from that, it's going to be a pretty relaxed weekend. The race that I have going on is going to be taking place in Jersey City. And we'll see how that goes because my training has been really off. But I'll talk to y'all soon.